Hi, my name is Daryl Ray, and I'm Vice Chairman of DMI.
And I'm Steve Sato, co-chair of the Design Value Project.
One of the big problems all of us face in the design profession is helping our organizations, and especially the leadership of our organizations, understand how design can contribute to its success. And that means how design can add value. The DMI Design Value System we're going to show you offers some very accessible and powerful tools and frameworks for understanding and communicating design's contribution, and for showing how it could contribute even more value in the future. The models that Steve is going to share with you will help you assess your current situation. It'll help assess your current progress and do comparative benchmarking. But most importantly, it'll help you create a solid vision and a strategy that can become the foundation for growing design's impact and influence in your world. The frameworks in the system are a product of DMI research, and this is important because DMI is a community of more than 25,000 senior design professionals and design leaders in more than 40 countries. So DMI is one of the best sources of credible thought leadership for our industry. You probably know DMI for our conferences and publications or educational programs, but DMI also does proprietary research. One area of the research we've been doing includes analyzing the performance of our members who have made major commitments to leveraging design as a way of driving how they innovate and their commercial performance. Importantly, they're also using design as an organizing force for managing the customer experience. And the results that we see clearly show a tremendous advantage for these companies, and they outperform the S&P by more than 228% over a 10-year period. This finding shouldn't be too controversial, as it's pretty consistent with other research studies, but the question most of us have is, how do we use and manage design to get the same level of results? The Design Value System provides you with some of the answers for that question. So Steve, tell us about the system.
Thank you, Daryl. So the Design Value System has two major foundations in it. One is the Design Value Scorecard, the other is the Design Value Map. Both of these together answer most of the major important questions necessary to really build a stronger design organization. In this short video, we're going to focus on the Design Value Scorecard, which helps answer the questions around what's the role that design plays today, what's its future role, as well as being able to use this as a measure for how well design is growing over time. So the Design Value Scorecard is built on several credible established models out there today. One is the maturity model, which is based on Carnegie Mellon's Capability Maturity Model Index, where there are 5 levels associated with the organization's maturity. This has been applied to in many professions, and so business leaders are often quite familiar with this model. The other model that the Design Value Scorecard is based on is one around the role of design, developed by Sabine Junginger, a preeminent researcher in design management. And in particular, rather than look at the 4 states for design, we look at the space between design where there's transition happening. When we combine those two into the Design Value Scorecard, we get this matrix where the columns are associated with the role that design plays, and on the left is design's more traditional role around development delivery with real focus on aesthetics and functionality. In the center is a role that design is often needing to evolve to, one where design is playing connector role or integration role. This is particularly important, for example, when it comes to delivering a more consistent brand and delivering end-to-end customer experiences. In the far right column, this is design's role around shaping strategies rather than just supporting existing strategies, as well as using design and design thinking to identify and create new business models. What's really interesting about the scorecard, I think, is that for each company, a design organization will have its own fingerprint. There'll be different there may be several different areas that design has a role in at different levels of maturity. And as I mentioned, it can also be used as a way to have discussions around where design ought to go. And if a design organization is seeking to move vertically, it's seeking to become more systematic. As a result of that, it'll have more consistent results, be more efficient, at lower risk with lower waste. On the other hand, if a design organization needs to evolve to the right, this is around design's role becoming more integrated, having broader influence, greater impact, and in return then having increased reward. So the design value scorecard, as we mentioned, is part of a broader system, one that includes a design value map and associated deliverables in terms of things you can do with that. There's a follow-on video that you can find at the dmi.org/value site that can provide details on the design value map as well as more details on the scorecard. Now, what there is for you today at the dmi.org/value site is directions to do a profile either as a guest or a member, and in return you'll get a design value scorecard summary showing approximately where you are in the design value scorecard. Now, really, in order to make good investments going forward, more detail is needed, and that's where a design value scorecard assessment would be helpful. There are details there on how you can find out more about that also. Thank you very much for listening in on this quick assessment, and back to you, Daryl.
Thanks, Steve. That was great. So how can you create more design value? Well, we've got some great resources for you. Go to dmi.org/value to get access to some really good articles, get a custom design value scorecard summary, information around future webcasts, or find out how to attend a design value system workshop. We'd love to give you a complete assessment for your organization about how you can grow design in your organization using these tools. And I think the most important thing is join our community, join DMI. So I'd like to thank our members and the many design leaders who have contributed to this work. There's a whole bunch of them. And thanks to you for listening and sharing this work and for connecting with DMI.